The BVI Alzheimer's Association this month celebrates Brain Awareness Month. With us today, a member of the organization, Dr. June Samuel. Welcome to 284 Media.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Brain Awareness Month. Tell me about what exactly the association's aim is to do for this month.
So, with the Alzheimer's Association, we are about prevention, awareness, education about dementia and Alzheimer's and all forms of dementia. Every year during June, we celebrate Brain Awareness Month, Brain Health Awareness Month, and it is really about prevention, talking about prevention and helping persons to understand the things that they can do to decrease their risk of developing any forms of Alzheimer's. Worldwide, internationally, we recognize there's no cure for Alzheimer's at the moment, and other dementias. Once you've developed a dementia, it's likely to be progressive, and therefore the world is now focused on looking at prevention and helping persons understand the things that they can do to decrease their risk.
No, Dr. June, for a long time in our society, there have been a lot of misconceptions about various things. However, as it pertains to Alzheimer's, a lot of people have the misconception that it only affects persons of a certain age. Now, based on research, we've seen that the numbers or the age group, the age bracket, is coming younger and younger. Tell me about that and also some of the other misconceptions that you might have come across within your practice.
Right. So I remember when I was doing my residency in psychiatry, which is not too long ago, we did talk about Alzheimer's being a disease of the over 65. Yes. Okay. And recently we've come to recognize through research that actually that age can start much earlier. And there's actually an early onset dementia that we're seeing more and more. Just up to yesterday, I was reading an article about a 44-year-old mom who was diagnosed. We have persons as young as in their 30s. And really, it's about the risk factors. So our lifestyle and the way we live our life places us at risk for multiple illnesses. And a lot of those illnesses can predispose you or increase your risk for developing dementia. So, that's one of the reasons during this month we want to focus on the youth, because, when we're young, we're invincible, indeed, right? So, but dementia can affect you as a young person. If you get into an accident or have some form of brain injury. In the BVI, we have seen young persons who have strokes at 30, 35. You can have heart disease at that age because of our high incidence in the BVI of hypertension and diabetes, which predisposes you to those conditions. And anything that affects your heart or affects your liver or affects your lungs can affect your brain. Okay.
You spoke just now about the younger group. There's some stuff that we might do and think it's okay. Tell me about some of those stuff that would cause us to be at even more risk for dementia or Alzheimer's.
Right. So as young persons, we engage in risky behaviors. So we ride motorcycles without helmets regularly, whether we're the rider or the passenger on the motorcycle. And even if we have helmets, we have the incorrect helmets. That is a significant risk, because if you get into an accident, there's no protection for your brain. We drive, although in the BVI you should drive with a seatbelt, we still will drive without our seatbelts on. We have children in the front seat and so if you get into an accident, there's no protection for their brains. And remember that once you get into an accident, you move forward, and even when you go backward, your brain is still moving forward, and that is what creates the injury. Sports, certain kinds of sports, riding bicycles without protective gear, soccer, football, if you do football, contact sports, wrestling, boxing, all of those types of activities that young people are known to engage in increase the risk of brain injury. Additionally, in the BVI, we have, as a part of our culture these days, young people, we do bar hopping.
Oh, yeah.
So we're drinking, we turn it up on the weekends or during the week. So there's a significant alcohol consumption that occurs among our young people, and alcohol use, not only is it now linked to cancer, but it is also linked to, putting you at risk for developing, you can actually develop an alcohol-induced dementia.
Wow. Okay. Now, with this month, a lot of people feel like, okay, well, this is the month that's set aside for brain awareness. Outside of that, we might not hear about it. Tell me about the support that the BVI Alzheimer's Association lends itself to persons in the community, because sometimes we feel like we're in it alone. We might have a
Yes.
relative or a friend who is suffering from this disease, and we kind of feel like, oh, well, it's just me. But when you look at it at a holistic vantage
Right.
point, you realize that there are a lot of persons in the community who are dealing with some of the same issues that you and your family are dealing with. Tell me about the support that the BVI Alzheimer's Association affords persons in the community.
Well, so as a part of, on the one hand, as a kind of follow up to this activity this month, we've actually decided that we're going to continue to follow up with targeting the youth.
Wonderful.
So we're going to be doing some activities for the rest of the year. So my colleague will talk about that. But in addition to that, the association offers support. That is our aim. So not only do we do education, but in doing our education and raising awareness, we've become aware that there are a number of people who are out there who either are affected or have a relative that's affected, so they themselves are affected. And it can be an emotionally traumatic experience to go through. So we're looking at offering support. We're looking at forming a support group, not just for families, but also for caregivers, persons who actually offer care to persons affected. We've already started a youth support group, and that group is for children who may be in families where there's a relative that's affected, so they're living with it in the house, and sometimes they're not so sure how they should interact with the person, what to do or what to say. So that group is actually currently active, and then we will offer, point people in the direction of resources, because there are financial implications, there's legal implications, there's emotional follow from once a person is diagnosed. So we want to make sure we have those resources available that persons can go to.
Wonderful. We'll continue the great work. We're going to touch base now on Love Your Brain, which is an exciting, awesome event that's coming up, a part of your Brain Awareness Month activity. So we wish you guys all the best, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
When you need to stay connected with friends and families at home or abroad, the best choice for you is Freedom. CCT Freedom. With the lowest rates in the market, our Freedom plan gives you unlimited calls and texting. Plus, our Freedom One package includes 10 gigabits of super fast, unlimited LTE data and unlimited calls to the BVI, USA, USVI, Canada, Puerto Rico, and UK lines. Why pay for overages when you can enjoy CCT Freedom? Stop by at one of our stores today and speak with one of our representatives to find out more about our CCT Freedom packages.